holidays. I want to specifically talk about a holiday strategy that we use every year in Fitme that I think will be very helpful for you going into both the beginning of Thanksgiving, but then the holiday season. And so why do we even need a holiday strategy? I think let's just like call the obvious what it is. We have the opportunity to way overeat both sugar and treats for potentially the next 6 weeks. And oftentimes in the holidays, we do that. And that usually results, I mean, it's pretty common knowledge that the holidays tend to put on weight for people. 10 pounds is easy for people to put on in the holidays. And so how do you find a balance between enjoying the holiday season and not missing it, right? Nobody wants to be like weighing and measuring chicken and broccoli instead of enjoying a holiday party. But on the other hand, knowing that you want to stay on track, you want to feel good, and you don't necessarily want to gain 10 pounds over the holiday. I think we start by addressing the root of it, which is that we can feel good and enjoy the holidays. And when we eat well, we tend to feel better. Like we know what it feels like. If you've ever had a holiday season where it just went chaos and it was like party after party after party after party, and then you get to January and like, oh my God, I don't even feel good. Like I'm so done. You're not really enjoying things anymore either. It's all blurred together. And so our strategy in Fitme isn't to miss out on the holidays. It's to choose the things that you are really excited about, the things you are looking forward to enjoying. And then outside of that, being okay with some level of moderation or just saying no thanks. And that can be challenging because people are a part of the holidays. So we're going to talk about all the obvious elephants in the room. People are the problem, right? Like people want you to come to the party. People want you to eat the delicious food. People want you to eat the cookies they made for you. People want you to come have cocktails and, exchange ornaments and all that stuff. People are a part of the holidays that are enjoyable, hopefully. And so a lot of times it's like that peer pressure that we feel like we don't want to deal with that can make the holidays difficult. And we sometimes have people in our life that like to comment on what we're doing. So if we're like, no, thanks, I'm just going to have this, then you get that feedback, whether or not you've asked for it or not, because you're exposed to people that you see sometimes or, occasionally or so on. So here's the strategy that we use in Fitme. First off, I do not recommend so let's talk about Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is Thursday, right? So if you celebrate Thanksgiving with your people, I don't recommend worrying about it. I recommend just enjoying the day. One day really matters a hill of beans in terms of your overall goals and progress. And so relax and enjoy it. If Thanksgiving's a day that you look forward to, you want to have the pie, you want to have all of the things, you want to have the potatoes and the sweet potatoes and the stuffing, all of that, do it. Just enjoy the day and be done with it. But what we don't want to do is have a day that looks like Thanksgiving happen like every other day for the next 6 to 8 weeks. And so what the strategy that works a hill of beans, Sarah, don't make fun of my phrases. A hill of beans is a real phrase, I think. I don't think I even altered that one.
You're just like 80 all of a sudden.
Listen, sometimes my like colloquialism phrases get mixed up and modernized, and sometimes they're extreme throwbacks. And that one's a throwback. You know who I developed this strategy with? I'm going to give her credit because she is on this call. Coach Leah, our director of coaching. So when Coach Leah joined Fitme, I was her personal coach. And I remember specifically talking about the holidays and talking about the feeling of that. What if my progress goes in the wrong direction? I've got so many things and there's all these people that are, going to want me to come to X, Y, and Z. And I remember asking Leah, and this was the origin of this strategy, to take a look at the next 6 weeks and pick the events that she was really excited about, the occasions that she personally was really looking forward to, and circle those on your calendar. And so that is step one of this strategy. I want you to look out between now and the first week of January and think about what's coming up. Is there like a special cookie party that you really are pumped about, that you really love and you want to exchange cookies at and eat all the cookies and you're so excited about that? Circle that. Are you excited about Thanksgiving? Circle it. Are you excited about Christmas Eve because you do X, Y, and Z? Circle that. Are you having a special work party where everybody goes out and exchange presents and you get to have cocktails and it's the one time a year that's super fun with everybody at work? Circle that. You can probably pick, think about it, over the next 8 weeks, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 occasions that you are super pumped about. And you can go into those occasions knowing you can enjoy them, not feel guilty, don't stress about it. You don't need to overdo it so you feel like garbage, but literally just do it, just enjoy it. Those are the ones that are important to you, not to everybody else. Next, you got to probably put on your calendar the things that you know you're going to participate in that are not your favorite events. The things that, I have to go to this thing for the kids' school and there's always nonsense there. And, oh, I've got to do this, whatever. You put on your calendar the things that you are going to participate in, but probably aren't super jazzed about. They're not special to you. Those events need to be on your calendar so you can see them, because those are the ones you're going to strategize around with your coach, right? We're not strategizing Thanksgiving. Just enjoy it. If that's one of your faves, enjoy it. You don't need a strategy. Have it be a day, get back to business the next day. But if you're going to go to something where you're like, man, I would really like to stay on track, but I also have to go to this thing, you're going to use your Fitme coach to help you strategize around that event, whether that is eating a quality meal in advance, whether that's bringing something like a protein to share, whether that's just making good choices in moderation, whether that is, some version of like in between. You can do some sort of planning around those events that are not super important to you, but you're going to be participating in. And then you know what else? The rest of the time between now and the first week of January should look like regular days. It shouldn't look like cookies for breakfast and eggnog for lunch and cocktails for dinner, because they're just regular days. And your body doesn't feel very good when we treat our bodies like that. And so they should have days that are walking, days that you're moving, days that you're eating vegetables and Fitme plates, like a 2 Fitme plate kind of day on the days that are not circled on your calendar. This strategy seems kind of basic, but it really, really works, because what we're doing is we're picking the things about the holidays that you are super pumped about, and we're not skipping them. We want to enjoy them. That is part of why we live a healthy lifestyle all of the rest of the time, so that when we have special occasions, we can just enjoy it. We can have the pumpkin pie, we can have the special, Christmas cookie, all of that stuff, and not think about it. Next, we have to acknowledge the obligations that we probably have around the holidays and the things that we have to participate in that we're just that's not that important to us. And we're going to come up with strategies for them. It's not all or nothing. It's not, I can't go. It is finding a strategy that's going to work for you so that you can still participate in the event if you want to, but you're not going to derail your progress because of somebody else's thing. And then last but not least, understanding that the other days should feel like normal days, drinking your water, moving your body, doing your strength work, eating Fitme plates, eating vegetables, all of that good stuff. And so with that strategy, you will have an incredible holiday season. You'll enjoy it. You're going to continue to either maintain or make progress, and you are going to feel your best. This should feel like the first holiday season, if this is your first time with Fitme, where you're not super stressed, where you're not feeling like, oh no, I'm going in the wrong direction just because it's the holidays. Everybody else is going to feel like that, but not us. And so that's your strategy. It's fairly straightforward, and it's your target for the week. I don't want you to think about it. I want you to do it. I want you to get your calendar out and start to circle those occasions that are important to you, and circle the ones that are not so important, but you're going to participate in, and then come up with a plan with your coach for what the rest of the days look like. So let's talk about the holidays. Does anybody have any comments, questions, things to share? Leah, do you remember when we came up with that? Like forever and ever ago? It was probably 4 years ago.
It was a long time ago, but it worked because it allowed me to feel like I could do these things still without like stress of doing them all the time. I don't know. It just reminded me like, wow, it's not a party every day. But when I
Right.
went, I could just do it. I didn't have to worry like, oh, I really want to be at this event, but I have to like do it on a diet,
Hmm.
which is no fun. That's like mentally draining.
Yeah, it's exhausting
It's exhausting.
and
I
not
still use it.
necessary.
No, not necessary. Totally. I still
Yeah,
use it.
I love it. And it isn't necessary because at the end of the day, it's really what you do most of the time that matters, right? That's the whole game we're playing. And so if you're just taking a couple of days off during the holiday to enjoy special treats, it doesn't actually matter. What matters is when that day off, we feel bad about it because we don't understand that it doesn't matter. So we start to get in our head about it. And then that turns into cookies for breakfast. And that turns into skipping lunch. And that turns into the next day looking a mess. And the next day. And all of a sudden we're frustrated with ourselves. And we get in that all or nothing mindset of like, I just can't be successful over the holidays. I'm going to wait until January. And isn't required either. We actually don't need to do that at all. But it really matters that you go into those special occasions knowing that you don't need to feel guilty about it. What else?
Hey, what? Oh, go ahead.
It's Paige. I was just going to say, I have even used this strategy, Christy, that you guys taught me to pick your days, not just for the holidays, but even like at the start of the year, when I look at the year, there are certain things that I already know, like, oh my gosh, I know that happens, I don't know, July 29th. That's one of my days. Like that's, and yeah, it's not as many days even in a year that you think. And so when you kind of set your mind into that, even going into the holidays, it sounds awesome to think about having 5 days that you're going to like, if those are the special things that you're going to do to enjoy them. I think it's awesome.
I like the calling it a treat, like TREAT, like a treat day rather than a cheat day. We're not cheating. We're choosing. We are intentionally choosing to enjoy something that we want to enjoy on purpose. And it's a treat because we don't do it every day. Because if we did every day, we wouldn't feel very good. But every once in a while, it's totally fine. And that's a treat day, not a cheat day. You're not doing anything wrong.
Also, if I know that something like I know a good friend of mine has a Christmas party every year, except for I don't know the date. So instead of waiting to put it on there, I just throw it in there so that in my mind I know it's there somewhere. And then if the exact day changes, it doesn't feel like a big deal. I know that seems really small, but it allows my mind to know it's there, even if I don't know the date because I know it's coming.
Yeah, and I think one of the slippery slopes about the holidays, if we can also call it what it is, tends to be the stuff that we put around our house. And maybe it's just me, but around the holidays, when you decorate, if you're somebody who likes to decorate with sugar, which I mean is a thing, then just be aware of that. You need to create your own boundaries. It doesn't mean that you can't have it. So for example, at my house, we always do I go to the dollar store and I get those like almost like melt mints. They're sticks. They're peppermint sticks, but they're like melty. They're like that almost like chalky texture. And my kids love them. It's like a reoccurring thing. I always get them and I fill jars and I put them around the house. The thing is that it's just sugar. That's all that it is. And so if I start eating those, it turns into sugar. I start to get sugar cravings and I start to look for more sugar because that's how sugar works. We want more and more and more. So does it mean I can't have those? No. But should I have those for breakfast or in a time when I haven't had a good meal or in a time that I haven't had any water or in a time that I'm stressed? No, probably not. I probably need to create my own boundaries around those. And if I want to have one and have a treat, then that's fine. So that's the other thing I want to acknowledge. It might always not always be events. It might be things that we do in our house around the holidays or things that we put in our house that remind us of the holidays. So we're like, during the holidays, I always have this here. I just want you to think about that. Do you need to have it? And just ask yourself the question, do we need to have this here if this is really problematic for you? And if you choose that you want to have it, like those peppermint sticks, like I just mentioned, which we definitely will have, then I'm going to create my own boundaries around it. No peppermint sticks for breakfast. Like that's the rule. Because for me, if I have it for breakfast, it's game over the rest of the day. If I can just start my day normal, then I can make good choices. And so you just have to create what is the right boundary for you. And so I wanted to bring that up too, because I know that that's a thing. Being sent home with treats, also a thing. You do not need to keep other people's treats in your house if you don't want to. You can say thank you, take them home, and put them in the garbage. Nobody's going to know. You might feel bad. You might think that the treats feel bad because they just got put in the garbage. They don't feel bad. And you don't need to feel bad either. And the person who gave them to you, they don't know. And so, but at the same time, like you can also say no, thank you, or you can say, thank you, I'm going to give these to so-and-so. You do you, whatever you want to do. But don't think that just because somebody sends you home with 15 bags of cookies because they're getting rid of them, that now it's your job to consume them. Because I know that that's a holiday thing. When in doubt, put it in the freezer. So if you're like, crap, I have all this crap and I don't want to see it, it's on my counter, put it in a deep freezer. You'll forget about it. What else? What are your thoughts around the holidays and this strategy? Because I want everybody to do it.
One other thing for me, Christy, that I've really realized, especially with sugar, is when I've eaten, like, let's say I know tonight, let's say is my special party, and I've had it on my list that, yes, I'm going to enjoy my special party or whatever. I know when I eat well for breakfast, a Fitme plate, and I've had a Fitme plate for lunch, I'm not nearly as tempted to overindulge at the special party.
It's so true. That is one of, oftentimes we're just hungry or we're deprived, or we thought maybe I'll just not eat so that I can, have less in my day so that way I can eat the things there. But if we go into a special party starved, we're going to overdo it.
Hey, Christy, one of the things, Stacy, that I struggle with is, it's a party, it's a social thing. You're talking, you're having a good time, and not really paying attention maybe to how fast you're eating or necessarily how much you're eating. And then all of a sudden you've overeaten. Like, I don't necessarily have trouble with the concept of I'm treating, because no, I don't do this every day of the year, but it's how much that I consume. And so one of the things that I'm thinking about doing this year is like just having a boundary for myself. Like if it's Thanksgiving dinner, I'm only going to have one plate instead of two. So whatever I can fit on my plate is what I'm going to have, and not go back for a second plate, because I'll be talking and all of a sudden I've eaten a lot more and I don't realize it until I'm over full and I feel terrible.
Yeah.
Or those types of parties where it's like hors d'oeuvres and you're walking around with a small plate, and before you know it, you've had 5 plates of stuff, because you just weren't paying attention. You were just talking and having a good time. So going in with some limits about how many platefuls of food I'm going to have is one thing I'm going to try.
Yeah, I think that's a great it's a really good point, because even if it's a thing you want to enjoy, you don't necessarily have to like overdo it to the point of being like overly stuffed and have eaten too much. And I think a plate is a great tool because it's not weird. Everybody's going to have a plate or some version of a plate. And then you can use it in your mind as sort of a good trigger of like what you just said, Stacy, let me fill up my plate for Thanksgiving one time and just enjoy it, but I don't necessarily have to refill it. And I really like when you do have parties that have grazing options so you can take all the things. I think putting it on a plate is one of the best strategies you can do. So the worst thing that you can do is just mindlessly grab it and eat it, because then there's zero awareness around it. But if you look at your plate and you've put, 3 little sausage things, 4 pieces of cheese and like a tiny sugar treat, just look at it with your eyeballs. Like you don't have to stop your conversation or anything like that, but just take a look at it and then know, like what you just said, Stacy, like, all right, I'm going to do this 2 more times and that's a wrap. That's a good enough for me. I'll be plenty full. But you're not being deprived. You're just kind of choosing based off of wanting to feel good. What else? We're going to be talking about the holidays for the next couple of weeks. And so we're going to hit a different topic each time, but this one is that planning one.
I would say if you're going somewhere and you're not sure what they're going to have, you want to enjoy yourself, but you also like want to have vegetables or like some kind of like good side dish or something, is that to bring something that you like and that you can really like fill your plate up with and still enjoy, but know that you also got some nutrients or something that you wanted.
Yeah, I like that. And I love bringing protein. If you can figure out how to bring a protein to a party, you win. Like put some beef on sticks and bring, because nobody else is bringing protein. They're all bringing dips. They're bringing cookies. They're bringing, all those kind of things. So if you can figure out how to bring protein, not only are you setting yourself up for success, but you're helping other people too.
You can find ways
Meatballs are
to,
a great go-to.
What's that?
Meatballs.
Yeah.
Mhm. You guys have the same
or
idea.
mushrooms with stuffed meat in them, like seasoned however you like it.
Yeah. And I think it's okay to take your mindset, the things that we've practiced around Fitme plates, and think about it at a party. Just take a look at the spread and think, is there any protein here? Let me start with that. Let's go ahead and put 2 meatballs on this plate. That's going to be step 1. Okay. Are there any vegetables here? Let me check it out. Okay. We've got some celery. We've got some carrots and a really good dip. Got it. All right. So let me pick out my favorite carb on this table. Like pick out something, thinking in your mind, okay, I'm kind of making a mini Fitme plate here. Like I've made some balance. And then like the fat part's easy because in the holidays, there's literally fat everywhere. All sorts of fat, from healthy fat to not healthy fat to whatever. You put 3 pieces of cheese on your plate, you're done. You nailed it. You basically made a mini Fitme plate. The benefit of doing this is that you are actually telling your body to be satisfied. That is the reason to do what I just said. Because when you eat a balanced meal that includes protein, vegetables, carbs, and a healthy fat, your body becomes more satiated as opposed to just going straight for the carbs for a while or just for the sugar and then thinking, well, I'm gonna get some protein later. Your body's not going to have that same like satiated signal. And so if you can create a balanced plate, meatballs are a great one. Who doesn't make those like weird grape jelly meatballs with the chili sauce? You know what I'm talking about? Grape jelly and chili sauce and meatballs. It's like the most.
Oh, it is so funny. I use apricot jelly to kind of get fancy.
It is the most basic meatball recipe that everybody loves.
Yep.
Anything else, guys, before we wrap up? This is a great time to use the Facebook group. So this is going to be a really good time to post, like, does anybody have any ideas around X, Y, and Z? Does anybody have any ways that you love to prep X? And remember, when in doubt, make some vegetables. You can be the person that brings vegetables and still enjoy all some of the other things, but also like add in some fiber, add in some nutrients into these holiday meals. That definitely matters. And you can do that. So ask for ideas on how to prepare things.
One more thing that I like to do is like if there's a big like smorgasbord and tons of stuff, I kind of look at my portion sizes, and I mean they're not always perfect when I'm out somewhere, but like getting I want a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of it, and kind of making, whether I have potatoes and mac and cheese or rice or, some carb, and seeing if I can get that to kind of fit in a tennis ball size. So I can taste everything, but I don't have to have like a tennis ball size of everything. I feel like that kind of helps me feel satisfied, because otherwise I'll just eat 3 tennis balls in one sitting and not even like
I'll eat a basketball of mashed potatoes. And just knowing yourself, listen, there's no shame here. Like there's some of this food that is so delicious and we've grown up. There's a lot of emotions attached to it. There's all the things. It's totally okay to acknowledge that and not feel bad about it, and talk to your coach about it. And then make a plan. really that's all that it is. Sometimes just going into a weekend or an activity with intention makes all the difference. Like my intention is to enjoy it, but not to overdo it. My intention is to have 2 cocktails and not 10. My intention is to enjoy it, but then not take anything home. Like sometimes those intentions really make you feel like you're successful. And again, the feeling of being successful and enjoying it helps you get right back to your normal, healthy lifestyle and habits the next day, which is the goal. Get right back to it the next day. Start with water and some movement. And so the theme of this holiday season is intention and to enjoy it and to not feel restricted, and to feel good in your skin. And so all of those things are sort of our theme for the holidays. And I want you to talk to your coach about what occasions are important to you, which ones that you're going to participate in that really aren't your jam. Do you need any boundaries around holiday treats for your house or otherwise? And then last but not least, talk to your coach about your intentions around occasions. What do you want to experience? What is it going to feel like? What are you committed to doing? And know that none of this is all or nothing. Sweet. All right, guys. Right, 5:30 on the dot. If you need anything at all, just reach out. But otherwise, look forward to talking to you soon. Remember, the next 2 weeks are pre-recorded, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye.
Bye.